It does. Hi, everyone. Wow, 18 people in here already. You guys are awesome. Have things set up a little bit differently. It's on the computer today because Amanda set it up and I don't know what I did and I can't find it on the phone and there were people in here waiting. So anyway, hi, Jean McIntyre. How are you? Okay, we're on live chat. It's different. We've never done a live on the webcam before. So hopefully you guys can hear us okay. I know the picture quality is going to be a little bit different. Hi, Clay. You're right. JJ never sleeps, but he has gotten so much better. And he is sleeping a lot better. Hello, Dolly and Brent. And I see Carol's on, and I see Kelly and Blue Line Tax and Accounting Services, Tony, John, Glenda. You guys are so awesome. Miss Cindy Bell, how are you? Did everybody have a good Memorial Day weekend? Card Shop Realities in the house. Hi, Tina Beard CPA. Hope you guys all had a good Memorial Day weekend. As you know, we had a lot of fun. If you're following us on our social media, we went up to Kansas City and we went to, or not Kansas City, Falls in Kansas, and we went to Imagine That Toys and shot some of our reality show, which is going to release tonight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure that you do tune back in tonight because it's a really awesome episode. In fact, I just finished it, and JJ just has to do the final thing on it, and then we will get that thing uploaded for you guys. But we had so much fun. I mean, it was a toy shop for one, so that was automatically fun. But they're really awesome people. Happy Tuesday. I know it's just completely thrown me off that today is Tuesday. And I think the man is ready, and he looks so dapper today. You guys, he got all dressed up for Card Shop. So here he is. Thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
The comments are popping out.
Well, I can pop them out. I didn't know if you wanted to be able to see yourself.
Isn't Amanda great? She comes on. I'm able to get a quick drink. I just came in from meeting with a fellow CPA. So, anyways, how's everybody doing? Yes. What am I missing?
No, you wanted to know. Here's the chat. So, do you want it out?
No, that's probably
so. Then you can't see yourself.
Yeah. No. Oh, no. Then that's good. I want to be able to see myself.
I know. You should. You're so handsome.
Okay, so we said hi yesterday at 4, and then we're laying in bed last night, and I literally we're about 5 minutes from going to sleep, and I was like, "Did we say hi to Jean in our video?" Jean, how are you? Good to see you. Glenda, John, and let's see, we got Tony and Blue Line. Hello. So yeah, it is Tuesday. Isn't it crazy? It seems like it is I don't know. Here in Oklahoma, it's been raining. It's kind of gray, and it seems like it's like the day after something, like something that wasn't that grand or something. But we had a nice day of rest yesterday. I hope you all did too. Thanks for joining us here on Tuesday. I tell you what, you probably saw, but I created a new page on my JJ the CPA Help website today. And it took me a little longer than I thought. I ended up updating kind of the whole site, giving it some fresh videos and updating the formulas, or not formulas, some of the documents. Because on Friday, late afternoon Friday, the SBA just loves late afternoon Fridays. Probably don't blame them, because then it gives everybody the weekend to read it and not, I guess, give them a bunch of questions. But they came out with 2 different sets of guidelines. One related to loan forgiveness guidelines, and then we have one that is related to the review process that's going to happen related to the forgiveness. And then they added last week, I believe it was on Wednesday, was the 19th. They added one more question to their FAQs, which was directed at the banks and in terms of when we turn this in. So we're going to be recording tonight some updates. So look for that. And then you told them about the reality show. But anyways, so we got Kelly Thomas and Carol. And yes, reading the recent releases. And Mary Cooper, hello. And Clay, what's up? What's up? Yes, money never sleeps. Thank you for all those that tuned in on Sunday as it relates to what? My picture looks awful.
Yeah.
Well, people are here for the information.
That's right. They are.
People are here for the information. We could probably just bring an umbrella in here.
No, I
cover
think
up,
it's just the quality.
cover up some of the light here. But anyways, and Tina, how are you? And Cindy, I sent a few of the CPAs a copy of these three, or actually just the 2 SBA releases. But anyways, on jjthecpahelp.com. There's a page now called SBA where I'm just putting all of the SBA stuff. I believe I have everything on there now in terms of the final FAQs, the different releases that they've done. If it's been updated, I put the updated one on there, and it was pretty well up to date. I hadn't updated the website in about 10 days because there wasn't a lot going on, but with everything this last week, I got it updated. So, and Candace, how are you? And Card Shop Reality, of course, Tina. And those that joined us Sunday night, did you already talk about this? We were on our way back from Wichita on I-35, pitch black. You talked about that already? So we, 2 things that are a little bit funny on that. Here, you're gonna have to just drop that right over me. Yeah, I think we're gonna try and get a little better lighting, and I will look like, I think you just need to lower it and just put it right over me, like Matt Austin would say. We got a good friend, Matt Austin, who's like literally a big time anchor. He was voted sexiest like Southeast anchor in Miami. Let's see. All right. I say lower that thing down. Let's just see what happens. You guys are going to see an umbrella, but you'll see my forehead maybe a little better. Yeah, you know what? Everybody's going to be like, you look fine. But on Sunday, thank you, Amanda. On Sunday, we are driving back from Wichita, and we stop at Brahms, which is an ice cream hamburger spot. And we're like, okay, well, we're going to be going, our show's going to premiere here in a little bit. We're getting gas. And I look and I'm like, oh, I don't see the premiere. And it got scheduled for 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time. But on the phone, it wouldn't premiere it. And we didn't realize that. So if you noticed, it didn't premiere until 9:30. But we're driving down the road, and I thought, I'll just watch it, while we're driving. And I just was like, oh, I got to say hi to this person. And, long story short, I pulled over. And so we were on the side of the road with our hazards on. And it was so great for everyone that tuned in and watched with us. And then tonight we do have, is the premiere set, or I got to look at it still?
You have to.
I got to look at it.
I finished it while you were gone, so it's completely done. So we don't need to do anything with it, I don't think. I don't need you to watch it.
So Amanda has really, I think, put the pressure on this statement, because I think you said you think it's going to be the best one yet.
It is.
It's going to be the best one yet. Yeah. So we love putting it together. Thank you for watching it. We know it's really our diehards, those of you that have just become our family that are really tuning in and watching it. So we're having fun. We're enjoying helping the people that we're able to help. We've thought of a couple other things that could come into play related to that. That's why we did Coach's House on Sunday. Mm-hmm. We'll be back tonight talking about Toy Time.
Toy Time. And
did we decide that we're going to just do now 9 episodes of Toy Time?
Yeah, I think so. And then we'll do 9 episodes
of the next one and the next. Yeah, we don't know who will go next, but yeah we think that that'll keep the continuity. and people can kind of follow a storyline there. So, and see, Ravi, good to see you, and Muhammad. Oh, hi. So let's see. Bilal, no, yeah, Bilal probably got it wrong. Hi, I'm studying for the CPA exam, and JJ, the CPA is my inspiration. Thank you so much for that. Send me an email, put CPA candidate in there, because I love knowing other CPA or future CPAs in terms of whether it's just encouragement or keeping up with you, or giving you any kind of encouragement. I'm not a big swift kick in the rear, other than like, are you kidding me? You have to do this. You have to get those 3 letters. We came across somebody, Jimmy, that watched one of my videos, because I have a playlist. Bilal, I probably announcing it incorrectly, but Bilal, I have a playlist called Get Those 3 Letters or CPA Candidate or something like that. If you go to playlists, and I haven't put a video in there recently. We probably need to add one. But I have a few videos in there for those that are considering becoming a CPA. And a couple of those videos are actually conversations I had with a candidate. They knew that it was going to be put into a YouTube video. But anyways, thank you for joining us. Rob, what's going on?
And then we have a first timer, Tammy.
Oh.
Tammy, it just jumped on me. We get Tammy Creative Casting.
No, I love it. Creative Casting.
Yeah.
Maybe she's here because she's gonna produce the reality show like on Bravo Channel.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the hope. Maybe Bravo Channel, Lifetime.
Yeah.
Maybe WB.
WB.
You know, what are some other ones? I'll take them. Oxygen.
Bravo, TLC.
Perfect. You know, I've got a client that actually 3 of them that were on a reality series called Home Sweet Oklahoma. And it was, I think, 2 to 3 seasons. And then one of the superstars out of that, Jennifer Welch, then went on to have her own reality show called Sweet Home, and she's an interior decorator. Anyway, so I've had fun talking to them about it.
Tammy says that they get that call all the time, that they are a metal foundry.
Okay, I love it.
Everybody is loving your outfit today.
Well, thank you.
That you are owning.
Well, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. We got it. This is a new jacket. I have worn a seersucker before. I have a couple of them, but this is a new one.
A little bit of an optical illusion
on
camera.
Okay.
It's pretty trippy.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's probably because of this webcam.
It is.
We haven't had that issue. Rob, it was great to meet you in person on Sunday, and we're excited that tonight's episode and then the next 8 after this will be related to your company. We had a great time, and we're gonna, I think, really have a good final result out of the 10 episodes. And you know, the key here is the businesses that we're working with: Backyard Barbecue, Pedal Spin Studio, and then DreamWorks Dance Studio. Is that these are already successful companies, and they probably wouldn't need any additional guidance if it wasn't for the COVID crisis. Now, one of the things is that most businesses that I start working with, they don't usually have as good of financials as maybe I had hoped for if I was working with one of my clients, and comparatively. So I do know with the toy store, they have a great set of financials. They have their numbers locked down for sales and inventory, and they have real-time inventory, real-time sales. But these 2 different software, so to speak, weren't talking to each other. And so I've got an easy way that they don't have to be linked up and overcomplicate anything, but to make their financials maybe a little more in tune with what they're following all the time, in tune with some of the other things that they're doing, making a little bit more real time. The way that they've got it now just isn't as real time as it needs to be, especially coming out of a crisis. And so anyways, basically it's like, you know, if I had to, I'm sure Rob wouldn't mind me saying, you know, I'd probably give their set of books, because they do have someone helping them. So it's not really a reflection on them, and probably the person that's helping them isn't watching. But I'd probably give them about a C+ on the books, Now on their inventory system, A++.
Absolutely.
The inventory system that Rob and Gwen have, Gwen, basically it is tied down to tracking inventory when it comes in, out, all that good stuff. So anyways, Matthew P. Conrad, will you send me an email? Because I was going to include you in my email today to just a small group of CPAs and then those that I'm working with. And all I was doing was just passing along the 2 PDFs. And so anyways, I was looking for your email. And so maybe you have an email that doesn't have your name in it, but if you'll shoot me an email, I'd just like to have it. And then Blair is the reason. I think it was Blair. Was it you that told us that we needed to just take Monday off, or was it Gene? Somebody said you guys just need to take Monday off.
Blair.
And I'm pretty sure it was Blair too. And so like you woke me up 10 minutes before we were supposed to go live.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, we got to go live soon. I'm like, okay, how long do we got? And you're like now.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, well, you know what? I think it was Blair that told us to take Monday off. So we are taking Monday off. Yes. So thank you, Blair. So we were like, you know what? But I was like, all right, well, let's record a quick video.
Yeah. And we did.
And then I'm like, shoot, we should have gone back and we should have wrote names down. But so off the top of our head, we were just saying hi to as many people as we could remember off the top of our head. And then as soon as we turned it off and posted it, you were like, hey, did you already post it? Because we should have said. And I was like, oh yeah, we should have said.
And I do want to ask a question. I want, since you guys are really our diehard fans and you're tuning in every time that JJ go live.
Thank you.
You support all of his videos. So we're making this content to help you guys. And so if there are certain questions you have that you don't feel that JJ has addressed, email them and let us know. Or if there are new questions that are coming out with everything that's new, that's changing, that you still are confused about, email, because we're about to do another big haul, just like we did with PPP, with more videos to help you guys. But we kind of want to know what questions that you guys have right now. Yeah, and we're gonna have expanded though. It'll be PPP forgiveness, but also the EIDL and the use of that. PPP is getting ready to kind of come to its 8-week end. So tax credits are going to be now something to be looking at. And this week, supposedly Congress may be making some changes. There's a lot of talk about extending this from 8 weeks to maybe 12, maybe 24. There's talk about doing away with the 75%, which I do feel like they should do. At least for the self-employed. If you have a Schedule C, they should just go, you know what, it's just all forgiven, period. Here you go. And then the SBA coming out with his additional guidelines, on Friday. Some of that stuff, depending on what Congress does, will change. But know this, when you all email us, we tag all of you as VIPs. And the reason I'm telling you that is that we're not getting as many emails, but especially if we get back into where people are more moving in I need an answer right now, no one can help me, and so we're getting an increase in emails. So we've been marking, really all of you here, so that when you email us, it goes in a separate inbox. And so the reason that we'd be more interested and if you're on here and you say I was on your live, we always, especially in the regarding line, if you say I'm on your live or I was on your live, we definitely try and answer those. So if you were to tell us you're on the live, whether it's today, and if need be, and we know that we've got other videos that are coming out, we can go longer, on the lives with the Q&A. And so anyways, we appreciate you, and we just want to be helpful and make this useful. And it's wonderful to come on and see you all, but also I want to make sure it's worth it for you guys to come on live and that we're answering questions. I do know we've been trying out a number of videos, and I think we're gonna, like you said, we're gonna continue these series that we've done. But some of those, I think, once we're done with the series, we may not continue the series. Right.
And we'll just see how that goes. But I know that there's a lot going on with the EIDL, and then with the PPP forgiveness. it really kind of just seems like it's gotten two categories. We got self-employed and we have the employer. And so I've not wanted to do any like step-by-step. You've noticed that. Really, because Congress said they're going to do something last week. They said they're going to do something this week. No one's to their 8 weeks. Now we got a few that are coming on it. I've got a client, and I think June 8th is when their 8 weeks is up. But at the same time, you have to have, for those that have employees, you have to have a 941 that you're turning in, at least based on the interpretations and the documents that are being requested with the PPP loan forgiveness application. And so with that being said, it pretty much is a foregone conclusion that you won't be able to put in your application at the earliest until July, because you're going to need that 941. Now, if you're self-employed, basically when your 8 weeks is up, you either spend it on the other expenses, the automatic of your 31 divided by 52 times 8 comes into play as your payroll cost. But then, were you getting ready to add something else?
I just wanted to add that if you, and this email that I'm asking you to email us, to email your questions, we may just turn that question into a video instead of answering it live. So then you'll just, I'll try to email you back and say we've answered your question and we've done a video on it.
No, we will. We will let you know.
If you are one of our diehard fans and you're here, if you leave a comment or a question on one of the videos, chances of us getting to them is going to be very slim. We would appreciate it if you would email us the questions instead of putting them on the videos themselves. I do try to go in and I spend about an hour and a half every day answering things on YouTube with JJ. But sometimes just because we get so many questions on the videos, they may not get answered. So I don't want you guys to think, wow, you're just ignoring me. You do have access to him. So email us your question. We will either email you back and answer it live, or we will turn it into a video.
Yeah. So really at the end of the day, as a thanks to you all, basically what we're saying is email us your questions. And I love it. I know that Carol, especially, there were a few that I was coming across, and she was helping answer questions. We get some, and we'll get 200 questions, and I'll go 3 hours trying to answer them because I'm trying to answer them correctly. And then I started to here's a link to a video, here's a link to a video, and then I always kind of feel bad when we see a comment from one of you all, or a question from one of you all. I'm like, gosh, I want to answer that one for sure. And for those that are asking questions, we don't have a way to know if they're a subscriber or not. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure we're answering you all. And if we turn it into a video, we'll let you know that. In fact, I'll be like, this one's for Blair, this one's for Gene. We won't expose last names and things like that, good stuff. And if you send us details, FYI, we're not gonna discuss those details if you're telling us dollar amounts and things to that effect. So anyways, I want to do that, and then I'm gonna say hi to a few more people. But then, do you want to ask them about the texting thing that we're talking about doing? You want to get their opinion on that? Hang on, I want to say hi to a few people. We got to change it up. We got to change it up a little bit, because I'm seeing here we got let's see, Ravi Shankar Busa, and then let's see. Who was it? Okay, Gene. The boss is here. God's Dozer's in the house. I love it. And let's see. Joshua Flores, what's going on? And then with Flying Colors, has sent us an email, right? She surely has, because we've sent her stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
We have emails from
So
her.
I couldn't come across her email this morning as well. So
Underneath with Flying Colors.
Well, I knew that, but sometimes in my phone I have the same as the online.
Gotcha.
If we have it. But anyway, so I want to make sure I have that. That got the seersucker. My mother, longtime seamstress, can spot fabric a mile away. I love it. Let's see. Yes, Rob says all about me. And let's see, Card Shop Reality. The Twilight Zone jacket is hypnotizing, not in the good way. Yeah. And let's see. Well, maybe should I take it off? Is it
It's
too
just every
distracting?
once in a while it
Okay.
does it, but then it stops. So I think.
And and Tammy, thanks for joining us. Mary Cooper, thank you. I appreciate that. And let's see, Blue Line Tax and Accounting Services. I was wearing your T-shirt this weekend. I don't know that I shot a video in it. Next time I'll try and do that. And then we've got April. Thank you so much for watching. And let's see, David Goodman, how are you? Let's see, any insight into interest on corporate LLC debt? If you're talking about on the PPP, I think it would qualify. And let's see, yes, couldn't help ourselves, Blair. Oh, couldn't help yourself. Gotcha. And then Tina, and let's see, thank you so much. I appreciate the compliments. I emailed in the past, helpful, I agree. Oh, we got Dax. Appreciate the email today. What are your thoughts on the forgiveness regards to, do you think the bank should be helping the application since they paid on the front side? Yeah, you know what's interesting is I did have 2 clients reach out today, and they had emails that they forwarded me, and the banks basically said, you need to just hand us in the application and you probably should get help on it. So yeah, I feel like it's pretty unfair. You want to tell Mark that we're live right now? If he wants to pop on, he can. But anyways, I feel like with the banks getting the 5%, I mean, they do a $100,000 loan, they pick up a $5,000 fee. I mean, I don't know, even if it took them 5 hours, that's $1,000 an hour. So yeah, I do feel like they should be involved. If they're not, I guess shame on the government for letting them be the ones that work it. Hopefully the SBA will come in and maybe realize that they need to make sure that the banks are involved on that. So disappointed. Let's see, Misty J. Let's see. Oh, answered that one. Interest on company debt, add to forgiveness. Yes, David. If it's in the company name, you should be good. Okay, the company that got the loan. So the company may be paying for the debt, but it has to be in that. Let's see, Misty, and let's see, Amy. Email any questions, and then Amy, hello, Blair. I did have an alternative payroll period question on 522 video that I'd love to get some guidance on. Blair, if you don't mind, well, I guess we could try and find that. I posted in the comments, is that preferred? Nope, if you can email it, but I think I'm catching up here. Let's see, what do we got here? And I know some people are like, oh, it gets boring when you read the comments, but I feel like I want to read the comments. If people are leaving the comments,
Did you
then
read the last one from Tammy?
I hadn't got to it yet.
Okay.
Yeah. See, Blair had a question on 522 video. I think we only did one video on 522. That was Friday. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let's look at it and see if we might be able to just answer it.
I did want to give a shout out to Hugh Meyer, who is the gentleman that reached out to me, and he wants you to do a webinar with him, and he is watching.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for being on. And then we've got TR Indiana, really trying to figure out if it's okay to not be being out certain people we didn't want to and hired new ones instead. What's this about being mandatory to give everyone offer letters?
Ryan Phillips is on.
Ryan Phillips, what's going on, my friend? Ryan Phillips is the defending champion 6A baseball coach of the year, otherwise known as Cooper, my son's coach, and been his pitching coach since he was 8. How are you, sir? So TR Indiana, basically, if you have employees that you're wanting to have come back, but they want to stay on PUA, then the SBA is requiring you put in writing that you offered it, and they want in writing that they denied it. Now, if you let somebody go for other reasons, then obviously you're not needing that, and you can just replace them. It's just that if you have employees and you hold a spot for them and you can't replace them, there's a lot of employers that can't replace somebody because they're not even open. So how are you going to hire somebody if you're not even open, right? Because PPP is supposed to be paid to the employees whether you're open or closed. So it sounds like you're open. If you need to rehire some people and you have a reason, you'll need to obviously check with your attorney and state unemployment. I'm only talking to you on the PPP side of how this works. And that's when you need to get the letter. Of course, you'd want to document anything else that your attorney says. Suzanne, forgiveness for 75% if self-employed. Can't wait to hear about this. So I've got a video on that, but for the self-employed, you basically take that Schedule C that you use to get the PPP loan, and you're going to take that line 31, and you're going to divide it by 52 weeks, and you're going to multiply it by 8. It's not quite 75%, but that is your forgiveness amount. And then whatever you spend above that on the utilities and the rent and all the other expenses. So go to my website, jjthecpahelp.com, and I've got a page that's the SE forgiveness page. And so it has everything that you're wanting there. It has a link to the video. It also has a worksheet that you can work through. And I had a typo on it. Thank you to the person that let me know about that. I did get it updated this morning. And then I've got a list of what it is that you can spend. I also have the SBA guidelines. So for those of you who haven't been to my website recently, I have that also just for the employers. So I have broken up, the forgiveness into 2 separate pages. One for employers with the calculation. The last one that I did get a calculator from somebody that I'm trying to get permission from them to put it on my website, and that because I think it's a pretty good one. And then I set up an SBA page, as I just told you here a little while ago, because there's now being so many different SBA guidelines coming out that it just got a little cumbersome, that on each forgiveness page I was trying to include the SBA guidelines, even though I still have them in there. And then I've got a page just on getting the PPP application. So that's, Amanda, when I first set up jjthecpahelp.com, I just thought it'd be one page. And the only reason I did it was I was putting on there my schedules.
I know.
And I just thought, well, I'm gonna set up jjthecpahelp.com because I'm not bringing on new clients. I don't want people to go to my regular website and then be confused or think that I've got some, sneaky way of trying to, get their business. And so I set up jjthecpahelp.com, and I've got a few other websites that feed into it. One of them is COVID-19 tax help. But nonetheless, it has grown into, I want to say I've got like 12 different pages on it. One that talks about the B4B cares. We're going to have some new information coming out about that, hopefully later this week in a good way. B4B cares is Tony down in Florida said, JJ, I want you to set up a foundation, find some board members, and then if you come across businesses that need help, here are dollars that I'm putting into it. And we've had others that are watching here today as well that have put dollars on here. So anyways, I did want to just, TR Indiana had the question, and let's see, Michelle Lovett. Yes, what is Blair's? And so, I'm sorry, Michael Lovett, go to that website as I had talked about there. Grain Bots, what's the email, JJ? Okay, you put it in there. And Andre, can EIDL use to pay credit card debt with changes from before loan, business, and or personal? So if the business expenses are on that credit card, without a doubt, like you can look at a credit card statement and go, that's a business expense, that's a business expense, then you should be okay paying the credit card debt that is literally tied. So when you're making that payment, it should be to the penny and only the business amounts, and you should keep the receipts, even though you don't have to turn them into anybody. They are indicating to keep the receipts. Yeah, and then let's see, David says your jacket's doing a little the Alfred Hitchcock psycho thing. Love it. And if we stay on a little longer, I may just peel it off. And we've got God Dozers, and let's see, Hugh Meyer, yes, you said. And let's see. Oh, Misty says, does my staff actually have to take off in order for us to pay them vacation pay for it to be forgiven? You know what? It's really not designed that way. I mean, you can pay them vacation pay, and no, they don't have to be gone. I mean, if you're just deeming it vacation pay, it's going to count. Now, I'll tell you this, if you're paying them regular wages and then you're paying them vacation on top of it, you're going to want to walk through the calculation, because sometimes I do know that there's employers and they're like, hey, if you don't use your vacation, we'll just pay it out to you in addition to your pay. So if you're talking about that, I don't know that that's going to work out for you. But if it's, so anyways, I'm not following the circumstances that you would have that, but at the same time, if you're paying compensation to them, it does make it clear if it's for sick leave, vacation, bonuses, commission, any of that kind of stuff, if it's normally what you're doing. And then let's see, Carol, I did read that if an employee rejects the offer to return to the employer, has to report them to the unemployment department. Yes, Carol, that's correct. It is only a few states as I know it right now. And I know there's the few that I know of, they actually have it where you log in and tell them. I know in Oklahoma, there's no mechanism for us to tell the unemployment agency. So lucky for me, I don't have one client that laid off any of their employees and or allowed their employees to go on PUA. They just continued to pay them. And then once the PPP came in, they just paid them in full, regardless if they were open or not, because we didn't want to get into any of those issues. Let's see. Do my clients claim the ERC for first quarter on the second quarter 941? No, they're going to do it on that form 7200. And that's going to be where they're going to claim it for first quarter. And believe it or not, you will check off that as second quarter. This is going to sound really weird, but they finalize the form too quickly. So when you're filling out the information, what they want you to do is do March 13th through March 31st. You put it on that application, and then you would submit it, and you're going to have to check the box for second quarter, even though it's for first quarter. So that's how you report it there. Okay, I better take Blair's question. What is Blair's question? Do you still have it up?
Coincidentally, we received our PPP disbursement on Monday, April 20th, and our biweekly payroll period also started on Monday, April 20th. Since the alternative payroll covered period starts after the date of disbursement, then I'm guessing the first payroll would start on Monday, May 4th. Oh, and we're talking about payroll incurred, not paid, correct?
Okay, so I'm going to pull up the application, and let's see, I don't know why this is running a little slow. And so bear with me, because I'm going to pull up the application to read the language. So on the SBA application for forgiveness, and it's on the first page, it says, for administrative convenience, borrowers with biweekly or more frequent payroll schedule may elect to calculate eligible payroll costs using the 8-week period that begins on the first day of the first pay period following their PPP loan disbursement date. And then they give some examples. So if it's on the 20th, which is the example, and their next payroll period is on the 26th, then they can start it on the 26th. Borrowers may elect to use the alternative payroll period, must apply the alternative payroll period wherever there is a reference in it for this application, which would be anything related to the payroll, but everything else would be the actual covered period. So if you're using the alternative compared to the covered, because the covered is the first day of the covered period must be the same as the PPP loan disbursement date. So what that comes back to is, yes, if you're using the alternative, it would be after the PPP. So if you wanted to, it would be that following one. If you're doing the covered period, then it would be the same day. So long story short, I feel like I doubt that anybody's going to question that. I mean, you probably just need to make sure that when you're clicking that alternative payroll period, that you're, making that clear that your payroll period is, let's see, so it's bi-weekly. She said it was bi-weekly. Yeah, boy, that's a real technicality there. because the payroll period is starting the same day as the disbursement. Well, yes, and Blair, the only thing I'm going to tell you is this, okay? Yes, you can elect either way. You could start it that day and then you're the covered period, or you could start at the next pay roll period because it would be the next date following. I think you're within the guidelines there. The second thing to note, though, is check with the bank on what the official disbursement date is. I know that it hit your bank on the 20th, but we've got a couple of banks that they're saying, no, this is your disbursement date. So I think the bank's the one that you'd want to double check, because here's what you'd want to make sure is that somehow your loan disbursement date wasn't the prior Friday, according to the bank. And in essence, it didn't hit your account till the Monday. So ask the bank when the official disbursement date is, because if it's a prior Friday, then you're following, you would have to use April 20th. And then the second part of it was?
We were talking about incurred payroll,
Not paid.
not paid.
Yeah. So the aspect here on the payroll is, if you're going with the covered period, really what it comes down to is it's the payroll that was incurred during that covered period. So if you have overlapping payroll periods, you're going to have to extract out whatever that days are in that 56 days. And what am I saying there? If you've got 3 payroll periods included in your 56 days, which would be what? Here's your disbursement date, but then a few days after that, you have a payroll end date that includes a payroll period before your disbursement date. Then you'd have to pluck out just these days, the next payroll period, the next payroll period, and then partial at the end. You'll need to do it based on the actual 56 days. So for those that do 1st and 15th, that will be you. You're going to pluck out your days. So if you have salary, right, you're going to have to take how many days were in that payroll period, take their salary divided by how many days were in the payroll period. That's your per day. And then you're going to add them up from there. Now, if it's every other, right, or every week, or I don't know anybody that does daily anymore, that alternative would probably be what you'd want to go with. One of the individuals I know for sure that's watching now, there was, okay, do I want to use this date, or because I can use this date, and this date would be better for me for my forgiveness. No shenanigans, no games being played. It's just the way it's falling out. I mean, they didn't know when their money was going to be dispersed. So here's the disbursement. If they go with the 56 days, it's not as beneficial for them from the forgiveness. And they didn't do any mucking around here because they couldn't, based on all the train was already in motion here. So I do feel like you can look at it to ensure you're receiving the best forgiveness that you can, Blair. But yes, it's going to be based on incurred. Even if it's the alternative period, then it would be the payroll that was incurred in those 4 biweekly periods. And then it's really the same thing for the rent. If you really read it, it's not, you have to pull it down to the 56 days exactly on rent and utilities. Now it has to be paid within the 56 days. Okay, so let's be clear on that as far as I can conclude. But it can be basically what they're getting around to is like, it's 2 months rent, it's 2 months of utilities, 2 months of the telephones, 2 months of internet use is really what that comes down to. If you have some big disparaging amount, then they're probably going to look at, well, what was going on here to cause that? You're not able to prepay. The SBA made that clear. Whether it's utilities or interest, anything to that effect. And then it's kind of the same thing with the payroll. I mean, it is going to be based on incurred. And so if you're trying to incur more payroll with certain employees, it probably really won't work out for you based on how the calculation is done there. So thanks for that great question, Blair. And I did do I must have not answered what you were asking, Blair. I did do a video on it, but I bet you saw it and you still had some questions. So I appreciate that. And then let's see. When I asked the SBA about why the IDL advance didn't come through, they said you have to accept the loan offer to make the advance kick in and then decline the loan. Wow. interesting. Well, Carol, that's got to be something new. I do know, because I was reading up on it today, that they seem to be going back to the regular order. You know, it was really meant to be that somebody was applying for the loan with EIDL, like the actual loan. And then while they were waiting, they qualified for this grant. And that was back when it was 10 grand. So it was somebody that was applying for the loan. And then they, you know, the SBA said, hey, but even if you get rejected or don't take the loan, well, you can still get that 10,000. This is back when it was still 10 grand. But there's now, now there's a number of individuals, because I've had a handful of clients last week that email me and they're like, whoa, I just got this email and I've been approved for 133,000 or 83,000 or whatever the case is. And so in that, they need to either accept or reject. What's interesting on that is it appears as such, at least based on my clients, that it was an all or nothing acceptance. It wasn't, I qualify for 133, I'll only take 50. Now that may just be because the client either didn't get all the information yet and haven't gone to the final process of it yet. But I do know you don't get to request the amount. The SBA determines how much they're going to loan you. Sounds kind of weird because the client of mine that got 133 probably only needs 20. But at the end of the day, with the EIDL, I'm going to do some videos on that. So it sounds like, Carol, they're going back to the original format. And if the SBA is indicating that, then I guess they have to accept or reject. But the whole purpose of the advance was, and that's why I know Carol's probably got the question, the whole purpose of the advance was, while I'm waiting for a decision, here's some money. And then it kind of turned into, well, the EIDL grant, if you got an employee, we'll give you 1,000. If you got 12 employees, we'll give you a max 10 grand. It didn't seem like it was leading towards any kind of loan. So yeah, I guess that client need to make a decision on how they're going to go about that. So, and then Carol may have been have been asking. So Carol's got a GER in there. Hopefully, everything. Oh, okay.
We do have this one, and it looks like somebody actually sent this person to you, and so it was it has some numbers in it. So if you want to answer it, but it's from Namish.
Okay.
And while he's reading that, I want to thank everybody for watching, and to make sure you have given us a thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate that. It just bumps up JJ's video so other people can come and see the golden nuggets of wisdom that JJ is using out. And make sure that you guys have set a reminder to come back to this YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you can watch, it's Toy Time, the second episode for our reality show with Imagine That Toys.
Let's see. So this is a question on this person's spouse has a PSC, which is a personal service corporation. The general category for PSC is an S Corp. With a subcategorization as a PSC. Okay, so we're talking about an S Corp. Thank goodness, because you need to be an S Corp, period. C Corps don't work ever, especially in these circumstances, even with the lower tax bracket. So really at the end of the day, I've reached out to our bank and they're no help, was exchanging conversation online, and the individual shared your website. Well, I appreciate that. Have you come across a similar scenario? Can you provide guidance? I truly appreciate your videos and hope that you're providing during this difficult time. Well, I appreciate that. So really at the end of the day, Namish, on the PPP, we'll see ya. Bye-bye. On the PPP, I don't think they indicated the PPP or not, but let's assume you're talking about the Paycheck Protection Program. So all of the W-2 wages is going to count. None of the draws will, because it's an S Corp, not a partnership, and that's not a reason that it should have been a partnership, period. S Corp's the best, can't stress it enough, the best for anybody in the service industry. So it's going to be based on the wages, and what you look at when you're looking at the forgiveness application. In fact, I was visiting with Rob on Sunday, And he was asking me a question. I was like, oh, well, we could do that. And then it's like, well, but they're an owner. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. It is limited. And so I think Rob reminded me of it because this calculation is so cumbersome. But long story short, if you are an owner in the company that's paying you wages, here's the deal. Your forgiveness payroll amount is the amount of wages that were paid in 2019 divided by 52 times a period, or what was actually paid. So from the perspective of this, whatever the wages were last year, divide that out, and then the wages that are paid, actually paid for your other W-2 wages, will count into the forgiveness amount. And then anybody that's paid a 1099, whether it's another business or a biller or shared expenses, period, none of that's going to count for the forgiveness. But I will tell you this, it's not going to guarantee that whatever you did pay, because you do have to go through the calculation. So be sure to check out my website, jjthecpahelp.com. I've got a page called Forgiveness, and it obviously has the calculation in there. Now note this, the worksheet that's in there that says initial calculation, it includes everything, but it doesn't include any formulas on purpose. But if you go through the application, and I've got some videos in there, I think it will help. But here's where it comes down to, and everybody probably just always a good reminder here. You can't get forgiven for money that you didn't spend on payroll. You can't get forgiven for money you didn't spend on the other expenses. And so the thing to remember is, for those that say, well, I think I'll just not worry about getting my employees back. It's just a 1% loan. I'm okay with that. A couple of things to note. I'm been saying this kind of from the beginning, and I've seen a few others that are coming to similar conclusions. We'll see if the SBA comes up with anything. But I read something very similar to my understanding, which was, it was another CPA firm, and it was on their website, but it's their opinion as well that whatever you don't actually spend, you have to return immediately, that it's then for not just a 1% loan. Nowhere does it say that I come across, unless it's somewhere in the minutia that came out Friday afternoon that I didn't catch. But what the thought process is, which I don't think this will really be the case, but the thought process is the forgivable amount that is then not forgiven, okay, because it got haircutted, that's what can be paid out over time. So for those that got an amount based on 1099s, 100%, I feel strongly that you'll just have to return that at forgiveness time, if not earlier. If you got an amount based on a calculation that you thought was correct, meaning we all thought it was correct early in, but then it changed, doesn't matter. You're going to have to return some of that money. So just think of it this way. We don't know right now. So if you got 75 grand of PPP and you only spent 70, it's possible that 5 grand has to be paid back right away. It's just possible. I hope not. I think for all of us that are getting PPP, it'd be nice to have that 5 grand and then just pay it back over time. I bet that's actually how it works. But at the same time, as my video talked, is it 1% loan? I think it came out Sunday. Is just, but what if it's not? So want to hold on to what it is that you're not spending, but it may not make any sense on the flip side to just spend your PPP money to just spend it. Meaning, if you're paying out vacation pay, if you're paying out bonuses, and that's normally what you're doing right now, okay. But once you go through the whole calculation, it may be what you already paid out doesn't lead to forgiveness. And then remember this. Remember, here's the big thing, because I did a video, I think last Wednesday or Tuesday, and it was called the most important number on the PPP, and which is this. There's 3 numbers you look at in determining your forgiveness amount. Okay, one is basically your payroll costs after all the haircuts plus all the expenses that you spent. That's one of the numbers. The second number is obviously the loan amount. You're not going to get forgiven more than that. But the third number that I think is probably the most important is that you take your payroll that you actually spent that qualifies, divided by 75%. Yes, divided by 75%. It comes up with an inverted number, okay? That is then one of the three numbers that you have to look at for forgiveness. And why is that? Well, if someone got a $75,000 PPP amount and they only spent $10,000 on payroll, right? So they're going to take then 10,000 divided by 75%. That's going to be the max forgiveness in that scenario, even if they spent 25% on the utilities and rent and whatnot. So you're catching where I'm coming from. If I took that 10,000 divided by 75%, I'm going to come up with an amount. That's the max forgiveness. You'd have the 10,000 of payroll plus a little bit above that. The thing that does not work is giving yourself a raise, because you as the owner are going to get maxed out based on the prior year. The other aspect here is that, and that is something new. I wish I could find, someone asked me, does someone own an ice cream shop on here? If you own an ice cream shop, I apologize. Yogurt, then
frozen yogurt, I think.
Maybe. So I had told them that they could pay themselves more prior year, but then the SBA came out with some additional regulations, and then also in that PPP forgiveness that basically is going to limit that owner to whatever they were paid last year. But nonetheless,
that would be Judy Lou.
Okay, so not on.
I don't think Judy's on.
Okay. Will you forward that email to ourselves so that I can email her later today, and it'll help me remember that. But anyways, at the end of the day, my conclusion on the harsh side could be the person that spent, $25,000 and it went to rent and utilities, but they only spent, $10,000 on payroll. Well, they spent it accordingly, but some of it's not going to be forgiven, even though they spent it properly. And then that would be the amount that's paid out over the 2-year period, starting the date of disbursement at the 1%. I feel like in my heart, that won't be what the SBA does. But when you read through the certifications, and that's what I put in my video that came out Sunday, if you read through the certifications, it indicates that if you didn't spend it on authorized purposes, you need to return it. So if you didn't spend it, you'd have to return it, as in right then. So it'll be interesting to see. I do feel like there's going to be something. Here's my guess. Here's my guess, and here's my hope. They pick a dollar amount, and they say, you know what? If your Paycheck Protection Program loan, if you're a self-employed individual, forgiven. Okay, because we all know that there's a max on that possible, because you can only count the 100. And for the self-employed, it's after rent, it's after utilities, right? Doesn't include the health insurance, supposedly. Long story short, that'd be my prediction. My other prediction is that, if your Paycheck Protection Program loan is less than, and they may pick a dollar amount, might only be 25,000. But if it's less than that, it's just forgiven. You're good. Don't worry about it and all the extra effort. That's not what they're doing, okay? I'm just saying that'd be kind of my prediction, because the amount of effort, let's think about this, that's going to go into someone who got a $75,000 PPP loan is going to be the same effort that somebody that put in $750,000 PPP loan, in terms of all the calculations and all the payroll and all that good stuff. And I do think that they may look at that and go, is it really time? Are we going to have time, they being the SBA, to look at this to determine it? Would it be easier just to go, you know what, here's a blanket amount that is just automatically forgiven? I think it would be nice, especially for the self-employed individuals. It also would be really nice if we had more than 8 weeks. Although for me, I think I have one more payroll period. I'm at my 8 weeks. I've been using it for payroll. So I don't know that it really does anything for me, but I know there's people that just got PPP, Amanda, right? Like last week. So, well, did you already talk to them about the texting thing?
No, we never got
Okay. So, do you want to sit here and talk to them, or you just want to talk from there?
Whatever you want me to
All right. Because Amanda's we're kind of thinking of doing something for you guys. We just talked about how if you have questions, email us. It's okay if you want to leave them in the comments. It's just that we will feel bad if we didn't see your comment and you didn't see your question. Because like we said, I mean, sometimes we get 200 questions or 100 questions or 50 questions or even 35 questions, and we just can't get to them. And Amanda's trying to check and maybe flag some, but there is only so much time in the day. And really what it comes down to is, at this point, I kind of feel like, I don't know if the person's subscribed. And so I feel it's a little like, if I'm going to take 5 minutes and I'm going to answer 10 and I just spend an hour, but then I miss the person that's with us all the time. Well, I would rather make sure I'm answering the person's question that's with us all the time versus I didn't get to it because I had 10 to go through. And I appreciate people watching, even if they're not a subscriber, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, do I need to answer a non-subscriber's question? I mean, in the sense, like, you haven't even clicked subscribe, and now you want me to give you a kernel of specialized knowledge? I mean, it's like, it kind of seems unfair to me. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I bill my clients $300 to $400 an hour. I mean, you divide that out. I mean, I'm happy to help, but at least it needs to be somebody that's providing support and giving back some love. And then I want to make sure we're not missing your question. But the text would be more of a one-way communication, but an efficient communication. So why don't you come and talk to them, and they can probably give you some feedback right now.
Okay.
Related to it, just initial feedback, kind of see what they think about it, because I think we would do it right. Yeah. So anyways, without further ado, it's the Amanda.
It's the Amanda twice, which is really rare, but here I am back again. Okay. So we have an idea, and I'm not sure exactly how all it's going to go down yet, but I'm thinking that I'm going to limit it to 100 people. So here's my question. There are things called texting communities that I'm sure that some of you have heard about. Everybody knows the popular Gary V texting community where you can text Gary V. I am thinking of starting a texting community for JJ the CPA. It would be a way for us to, whenever there is breaking news or if something's happening right now that's going down, that we would be able to send out a massive text to everyone to direct you guys to a video or to let you know what's going on a subject, send you to the website, something like that. It would also be a way that we wouldn't necessarily answer questions, but you could text your questions, and that's what's still kind of up in the air. If I limit it to 100 people, then you guys would be able to text your question, and we'd either email it back or maybe be able to text the answer back to you guys quickly. But just limiting it to 100 people, to our die-hard fans. So my question is that something that you're even interested in? Is that something that any of you guys would have to or want to participate in? Because it is something that JJ would have to pay for. And so I want to make sure that if we go ahead and sign up for it, that you guys would utilize it. And like I said, it would just be limited to 100 people. The first 100 people that would sign up for it would be in it. And then if it goes well, then we would extend that out. So
we wouldn't be selling anything.
Yeah, we wouldn't be selling anything, and it wouldn't go to anything that that you guys would have, like a funnel or anything like that. It's not going to be any different than his website. Everything's completely free, and he's still going to be offering free stuff. It's just a quicker way for us to get in touch with you. So Candace says yes, of course. Yes, and please make sure that you guys are giving thumbs up. I appreciate you guys saying that. So Blue Line Tax, and you went to high school with Gary V. That's so cool. All right. Tony YU says if it costs money or costs money for JJ, no. AK said absolutely. Mary Cooper, text alerts sound great. Good idea. Amy, great idea. As a fellow CPA, love being able to hear the guidance and discussions. I'm in. And it would just be text about, I mean, it's not like we would blow your phone up or anything. Maybe, one text every once in a while whenever there's a really hot subject and he's just done a video on it to get it out to you guys so you get that information immediately. So
tell them, when they watch, YouTube pays a few, we're monetized. So
yeah, and so it will kind of balance out because we are blessed that JJ did get monetized. So thank you YouTube for doing that. But so he does make money off of his videos, and so it would kind of balance itself out. He would be making money, and it would just get you guys to the videos sooner. So
might release some early.
Glenda, can he write it off?
Yes.
Yes, it would be something that he could write off. So it looks like the majority of you guys sound like you like the idea of it. Well, then I will play around with it some more. I've just set up the account today and I'm just on a free trial and I'm just testing it out to see if it's something that you guys might like. And then whenever it is opened up, we do, have the majority of you guys' emails. There's 85 people on, so you're our diehard. So we know that we have your emails and we would send out an email to everyone first to sign up, and then we would announce it online and any additional people could sign up after that. But you guys would get first spot.
And you know what, maybe tell them though, just in case, sometimes emails, like when I was trying to find the email address for With Flying Colors, right? I wasn't finding it because it wasn't on my particular phone.
Yeah.
So point is that if you are interested in that, just send us a quick email. And if the email's different than your, name here on YouTube, let us know that. But, the regarding line, if you just put text, then we might include them in kind of a test.
Yeah, absolutely.
We might include maybe 10 people, like, as we're working through it, like, okay, we just sent one. How did it show up? How did it look?
Right. And I do see that you guys are talking about Super Chat. I have looked at that. There's a kind of a moral thing there that goes that I know that you guys would donate money to support JJ, and that's awesome. And we feel that by you watching the videos, you're doing the same thing. And his whole premise with putting these videos out here was not to make money from you guys in the way that you're like physically giving him your own money. Whenever we're getting paid from YouTube, that's different. So that's still a conversation that JJ and I are still having, is if we are going to make it to where people can donate during lives or donate, by turning on Super Chat, because he's making money off of the ads and we don't want it to be like we're just on here just to make money from you guys. So and we're not, and you don't get paid for lives. So absolutely no money goes from making the live unless people go watch it after the live's over, and then the ads will pop up. But he doesn't, we don't generate a lot of money off live. So
you might mention that we weren't talking about a group of 10 businesses for coaching.
10 businesses for coaching. Yeah, and that was another thing that we are looking into. Bringing in about 10 businesses for some business coaching from JJ to CPA. And we're still in the works of that. That's very early. We haven't really made anything besides just had some conversations, but nothing's been set in stone on that. So that'll be another way. So we have tons of ideas. PPP is not going to be the end of JJ to CPA. There are so many more things. And you guys all have taxes and you all need taxes done. And he's a genius. So
I'm not doing tax returns.
No, not, but you're going to be providing some tax information and tax updates and stuff. So I like that you guys have given me the majority of yeses. And so I will look more into that. And so stay tuned because something will come out from that. I really appreciate that. I will put the email at the least you could do. I will put the email in the comments whenever I go back to my computer. And thank you for coming here since this is your first time. I know, right? With flying colors, she said I'm laughing at JJ whispering. All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, a CSR invasion is going to happen. Thank you, Rob. Rob said this one, I'm a trendsetter.
All right, I took off the Alfred Hitchcock. Is this one better? Is this one a little better? Yeah. Well, hey, thank you for your feedback, and thank you for being on today. I think what we're trying to do is I really want to keep the balance of being somebody that can provide information without a direct expectation back. I think that the authenticity of the information becomes less, I feel. So when I look at other people out there that I don't know where they began with their careers, but I see, and I'm not knocking them at all because everybody's got to make a living and there's plenty of people that are working with those individuals. But I don't want to change the authenticity of my videos or my relationships. And so I don't want to do a funnel. I don't want to do gimmicks. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they watched my video and now they have to give something back to me. That sounds weird, but I think part of that is just my nature and being a CPA. And then I'm just ecstatic that YouTube has monetized us. But the only thing that we talked about is, and those of you that have bought our books, thank you for that. And if you bought some t-shirt and mugs, we have everything kind of at the lowest price, but we really appreciate all that. And then there are some people that have sent money just unsolicited. So I really appreciate that. And we're putting it into B for B Cares. But on the coaching thing, I'm just going to mention that because I don't want anybody to think that we're now doing some funnel thingy. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be something I'm selling on YouTube. I might mention it like every once in a while, but I think part of the issue is there's people that get on YouTube and then people get in their ear like, oh, you have all of these followers, you have all this information, so now start selling it. And I would rather just have 100,000 followers and provide good information. And then if I put good information out there, then people are being helped, and then I'll be, in essence, rewarded by YouTube. But at the same time, I've been hearing more and more, hey, do you offer coaching? I almost don't really like that word, but that people understand what that word is. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, I've had enough people that have said that. And so I've been really hesitant. And then you and I talked about it about a month ago. Mm-hmm. We looked into how that would work. And I think part of the reason I'm hesitant is that one of my really good close friends that we're not friends anymore, but talked me into doing a funnel about 2 years ago. Or no, I guess it was a year and a half ago. And I kept getting out of my comfort zone and more out of my comfort zone and more out of my comfort zone to where I finally had to just crash and burn it. And that's what caused there to be a disruption to our friendship, even though we both mutually respect each other. So I'm we did a funnel, but I felt like when we were first doing the funnel, it was just like a website, click here, here's a series of videos. So I may do something like that in the future, but it would be not what I'm putting on Facebook. On YouTube. Mm-hmm. It would be like, how do you set up a business? Something like that. Anyways, I digress. I'm just telling you what happened a year and a half ago and why I don't want to get into that. So I want it to be authentic, and maybe someday we do something like that. But I feel like all of you that are coming on, you make our day, you make our week. We look forward to it. When we go live, we're like, oh, we're going to probably have this person on and that person, and you've sent us gifts. So anyways, at the end of the day, this texting thing would be more just taking care of those that are taking care of us.
That's right.
As our good friend Dave Washburn says a lot. take care of those that take care of us. And by you watching our videos or sharing, or the comments that you do leave, I hope that you do still leave some comments, because that helps. It helps YouTube know, like, oh, people are interested in this. Or if you don't leave a comment, probably a lot of you are leaving thumbs up. But on the coaching thing, that's where I can't do specific help, because as a CPA, I need to be engaged. I don't want to give somebody advice that doesn't help, but I don't have time to take on new clients. And so anyways, we have a friend of ours that does this, and does it more on coaching for motivation.
Yeah.
And so anyways, if it was a monthly fee, and it was we were on a group phone conference for 2 hours, and then it included some regular check-ins, then I would have time to do that, because right now I really don't have time. That's why I haven't taken on new clients in a while. But nonetheless, it would be a way for those that really do want the next level, next step. That's not just whenever we can put out a YouTube video, and the YouTube videos, of course, are just informational. So long story short, that's what we're talking about there. But the texting wouldn't lead to that.
No, the texting wouldn't lead to that. It would just be a way for me to, if something dropped from the SBA and JJ gets a video out, that you're not having to wait to get a notification from YouTube that JJ released a new video. I can shoot out a group text and say, you guys need to go see this video right now.
Or it's, hey, we're going to be in La Canada.
Right. And it'll also be a way for us to let you know travel plans and stuff. And just a more personal side. Not that we're going to be chatting back and forth, but you guys know what I mean. So.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what that's all about. And I appreciate Tony said, well, if it costs, JJ, that's very thoughtful, and I appreciate that. Well, so we got 52 thumbs up. I really appreciate that.
Memory says, love you, JJ. I'm a wedding photographer and DJ. I feed my family with that revenue. Thanks for all the advice on PPP for self-employed. It made me have my mental health back.
Love it. And I'm glad. And you're bringing a lot of happiness to people.
Rob says, remember, we are your groupies.
I love it. But see, what is this? I like Amanda's impression of Coach more than JJ's. All right. So, Sarah K. JJ, you broke all the news on the government support. Our city is just getting to the news now. Old news, that is. Whatever you need, we have your back. Thank you for that, Sarah. I really appreciate that. Yes. Let's see. Alfred Hitchcock. Yes. And let's see. Good decision not doing super chat. I did see other channels trashing other PPP and EIDL channels for using super chat. Good call. Yeah, and I think on in these times as well, like I don't know, there's something about that. Maybe if I had like Snoop Dogg on, or Dr. Dre, or I don't know, Toby Keith. And we had a super chat on because you would want Toby Keith to sing a song for you or say hi to you or something. I don't know. But it'd probably because we have to pay Snoop.
Yep.
Or Dre.
That's right.
Yeah, they don't call him Dr. Dre anymore. They call him Dre. Don't they?
Yeah, Dre.
Do they call him Cube, or they still call him Ice Cube?
It's still Ice Cube.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What did I miss here? Because, boom, talk about it. I'm trying not to make sure I missed anything. Let's see. And with flying colors, let's see. What does he? Flying colors said what here? Yeah, if you start doing skincare reviews, I'm gonna get concerned. I love it. Let's see. Nelson James, as an Uber driver, can I use my EDI loan to buy a car since my car crashed in March 2020? Basically, car is my means for work. My loan is under $25,000. So what's interesting on that is that if you are replacing something, there's some finite rules. If you are replacing something that's been physical damage, and the insurance company didn't reimburse you, then the difference can be used in that circumstances. However, that is limited to property damage due to the disaster. And so COVID-19 doesn't have any physical damage opportunities. It's a weird way to say that. So I hate to say no, because I'm just giving you my opinion on that, but I don't believe that it would, because it's not meant to expand your business, buy new assets. I don't even think replace new assets. Now it can pay back loans as long as they're not federal, because the federal should just get extended. You can really use it for any business expense where you owe it in the past, currently. So I hear what you're saying, but here's the good news on this though, Nelson. And Nelson, I apologize if you have answered our emails before, our YouTube before, but make sure you're subscribed. Make sure everybody, if you don't mind, especially if I'm answering a question of yours, if you don't mind, subscribe. And I'm going to apologize, Nelson, if you're like, what are you talking about? I comment on your videos all the time. But nonetheless, Nelson, when you take Schedule C, line 31, okay, and divide that by 52. Oh, no. You're talking about EIDL. Never mind. Scratch that. You were talking about on the EIDL. So at the end of the day, think of it this way, Nelson. If it's able to cover other expenses, which I understand as an Uber driver, you only have expenses really if you're driving. But if it's going to cover other expenses, there's not a time limit on this, okay? So you could go and get a car loan. You can't use any of the EIDL money for it, in my opinion. But then as you have expenses moving forward, you can be using the EIDL monies for that, the gas, the insurance related to it. Basically, the EIDL is to cover ongoing expenses. So I understand you don't have an ongoing expense unless you have a car. So hopefully that it's not that, I'm sure it's not an answer you were looking for, but that would be my opinion on all of that. Let's see, new here, never commented or subscribed. Card Shop Reality. Let's see, got a brown paper bag, my desk of your coaching videos. Let's see, 406, love you, JJ. Oh, thank you, we had talked about that. Sandra, let's see, what did Sandra say? Was it something that you were talking about? Gosh, it just skipped. I would join if this would be applicable for bookkeepers. Oh, let's see, Rob and Gregory Duke. How does FTE count on PPP count towards team members who earn productivity commission only? Your insight has been a real relief. Thank you. Yeah, Gregory, that's a good one on that. Really what it's going to come down to is they indicate, if you read the examples, you still divide it out by the 40 because the hours wouldn't be based on the dollars. And I understand though what you're getting at, which is, okay, but how many hours did they work? Well, think of this, a business that's closed. Okay, you then look at, well, how many hours did they work in the past? It's a maximum of 40 hours. And then that's all broken down into, in essence, a 0.5 of 1. So in my opinion, you would still use the 40-hour mark, meaning if somebody's full-time with you, then I would use the 40 hours. If somebody's part-time, which probably if they're getting commission, they probably aren't part-time, but I would use the 40 hours. And then if somebody's, done work full-time, then maybe you use the 20 hours or the 32. But when you go down and you look at that FTE, which clearly you have, when you divide that stuff out, it's going to work out okay, I think, by using the 40 or the part-time. So I think you'll be okay with that. So Flying Color says, La Ka Ya Da. You better take a picture of that because I know that it's La Ka Ya Da. Oh, La Kenyada? La Kenyada? La Kenyada? La Kenyada? Okay, wow. Well, thank you, Goddozer. I appreciate that. EIDL has become a loan, not a grant. Yeah, so real quick though, Gene McIntyre. So the EIDL the advance is the grant. Above the advance is the loan. So it's kind of weird. It's got the two characteristics. And, you know, some people have gotten a loan and they didn't get the advance because they went and got the loan, or they didn't get the 10,000 because when they applied for the loan. But again, the advance portion is very clear because it's not included in the loan amount. So the advance is the grant, the EIDL above the grant, whether it's 1,000 per employee or the full 10,000. The amount above that is the loan that then still has the same limitations that I just talked about, whether it's an advance or not. Let's see. Oh, yeah. And God Dozer, you covered that. So I guess I need to just jump down to the bottom. Let's see. Kendra Donald Galvez. Do you think we will have to provide any proof on what we are spending the EIDL on as long as we are current on our payments, self-employed, and most likely if you get one, it will be under the 25K? You know, when you read about it, they do indicate to keep it, but there's nowhere to turn it in. But they do indicate for you to keep it. I believe they even indicate keep it for 6 years. And so you just probably should do that. I don't know why you would ever have an inquiry as a self-employed individual. I'm glad you're getting that relief. But at the end of the day, why not? And remember this, with the EIDL, it's any business expense, and there's not a time limit on it, meaning it's not within 8 weeks. So quite frankly, if you put the money in and then if you got, let's say, 25 grand, you know, then you're just going to track all your expenses, because I think what they're trying to do is ensure that somebody doesn't get the 25, they don't have any future business expenses, and then they just put it in their pocket. So given that there's not a time frame set, it should be okay to do that. And then you're just tracking it. And, you know, given the fact that you have a loan, you are going to pay it back. There could be somebody that, you know, says randomly, hey, we want to see that. Because I did read that the penalty for the EIDL being used incorrectly was then you owe 1.5 times what you took. So if you took 25 grand, you're going to pay that plus the interest on the EIDL plus a 50% penalty, which you know you're not going to have, so might as well have the documentation on that. So let's see, Kendra, I don't know if I've seen the name before, and I'm sorry if I have it, but if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Nelson, you are welcome. 406 memories for self-employed. Does the EIDL advance amount get subtracted from the PPP loan forgiveness amount since they can't be used for the same purpose? Does that apply for the self-employed? 406 memories, thank you for asking that. Amanda indicated that I need to do a specific video on this, so I'll give you the advance answer. And that is, yes, seems totally unfair. And even though it's not used for the same purpose, I was hoping that the EIDL that was taken January 31st through April 3rd would be the only amount to subtract from the forgiveness. Now, again, we're only talking about the advance. So if you got anything above the advance, that's not going to affect your PPP as long as you spend it on something different. But in essence, whatever your loan amount comes to that is forgiven, whatever you got on the advance will reduce it. And it does seem unfair in the sense that, you know, if you're forgiven for 12 grand, but you got $1,000 EIDL advance, so you did everything right on the PPP, you achieved a $12,000 forgiveness amount, but 11,000 of that example would be the only amount forgiven, and then that $1,000 of your PPP would have to get paid back. So not a fair deal, but yes, even on the self-employed, that is going to apply. Now, know this, the EIDL doesn't affect PUA, just because I know that that's usually sometimes a follow-up on that. Let's see, God, those are already nailed it. I guess I should look and see, because there might be people already answering these questions. Let's see, SBA is just trying to make sure JJ doesn't use his PPP money towards his fancy stockbroker braces collection. Yeah, I don't have any on today, but I appreciate that. Let's see, we file, and do we have another email? Okay. Let's see. So Carol, I wish they would put a hold on applying for forgiveness until the rules are set. No doubt. I definitely agree with that. Let's see. So TR Indiana. Hi, we filed 1060s for our business LLC. So probably a form 1065. And I'm assuming it's not 1099s. And then profits past the 1040s. I do not know how we can pay ourselves anything. Advice would be appreciated. We are not on payroll, just taking drawings. Yeah, so for you that has a partnership, if you received a PPP, Paycheck Protection Program loan, and it's based on your drawings, your draws, okay, then the amount that you have in play, you're going to take it divided by 52. That's 52 weeks times 8 weeks, okay? And then that's what's going to be done as your forgiveness amount. It does have to get paid out. The drawings have to get paid out. However, on the partnerships, there might be some more guidance that came out on Friday. I just had time to skim it. I did take the weekend off. I did spend a couple hours updating the website today. So I'm going to go back through those and look. There might be something that has come in. So what I'm telling you is go to my website, jjthecpahelp.com, jjthecpahelp.com. And I've got an SBA page. And on there is the SBA documents and including the forgiveness amount. So you can pop through there and go through the documents if you need a quick answer. But know this, I will be putting together a video related to the partnerships, related to the self-employed, related to what just came out from the SBA. So stay tuned for that. And then, ask your bank if they have an answer for you. Because the other thing I'll note to you is that it's not just the draws that are good enough. It had to have been, in essence, as I understand it, the guaranteed payments that come into play. And then Carol, never heard of braces. I thought they were suspenders. Carol,
It's so funny.
you're killing me. There's no way Carol knows this, doesn't know this.
Carol wrote the question and the card shop said, that is going to cue story time, Carol. And I laughed and he goes, Amanda knows. So I told her what they were.
Yeah, so Carol, I see probably what it is when I've talked about it, Carol's helping other people.
Yeah.
And there's a number of you helping other people coming on. I really appreciate that.
Card shop.
Yeah, so Carol, I really appreciate you asking me. But braces are suspenders, okay? But more white collar looks only.
Yeah.
Right? Because suspenders would be, suspenders would be more like you got to suspend your pants up. You're working a job where your pants are going to be pulled on because you got either a bunch of stuff in your pockets or you've got a tool belt.
What I told her was suspenders are for janitors who work in schools, and that braces are for looks. It's like how women, we want to wear accessories. We wear bracelets. We wear, earrings. We wear necklaces. Men who are in the business world wear braces as an accessory.
Yes, but when you wear braces, you don't wear a belt. When you wear suspenders, you could wear a belt. Okay. When you wear braces, you don't ever wear a belt. Number one. Number two, it does keep your pants up.
Carol now said, Carol, you're killing us. You're killing me, Carol. She said she thought it was an Oklahoma thing.
Nope. So Harvey E. Warren II, okay, he wasn't a third, he was a second, which usually means you're a junior, but his business card said Harvey E. Warren II was a manager when I first started practicing in Dallas, Texas, when I was fresh out of college. And one of the things that I had read in a book called Swimming with the Sharks was how to conduct yourself in the business world. And one of those was whatever level you want to work at or get promoted to, dress like the individuals at that level. Well, Harvey E. Warren, who I only saw him sitting behind a desk, had what I thought were suspenders on. I don't think I remember seeing him walking around, and if he did, he had his jacket on. So whenever I went in to meet with him, he was always sitting down and he had these on. So anyways, I thought, you know what? I'm going to treat myself. So I went to JCPenney's, and they had these kinds that had buttons, they were, and I was like, what in the world are these? I'm not getting that. Like, that's ridiculous. So I got suspenders, which is the clip. So anyways, Harvey E. Warren basically said, hey, because I wasn't JJ back then, he said, hey, Josh, we'll come in here. And he's like, listen, I'm going to tell you something real quick. If you are, and he's the one that used white collar. If he's like, you're doing a white collar job, right? Meaning you're using this for purposes of holding your pants up. And he stood up. And he's like, you want braces, which then they button in. So you have to have buttons in your pants underneath, not on the outside. You button them in. He said, but suspenders is what a janitor, and he didn't say it disrespectful, but it's what a janitor would wear, because they're, might even have a belt, because they have things that are weighing, keys and things like that. So they have suspenders. Typically, suspenders are also kind of stretchy, where the braces are not. Doesn't mean they can't be, but braces are typically material. And they're back from the days when men used to wear a strap around their calf and they would clip their socks. That's how long ago the braces were coming into the fashion world. So, all right, let's see.
What time do you want to?
Oh yeah, gosh, it's already 5:39. Okay, let's see. It's okay. I'm back. Grilled chicken and macaroni and cheese for my store. He went and ate. I love it. I love it. Can I use EIDL to buy a first-class one-way ticket to a no extradition treaty country? Well, the short answer is sure, because you're not coming back. But I will tell you this: on your EIDL, it can be used for business travel, because if it's business travel, in the sense that if it's an ongoing expense. So if you normally have to travel from Oregon down to LA and you're taking a quick flight there and back, in essence, it's part of your operating costs. But, I do tell people, and then we'll start wrapping up. I do tell people, oh, we do actually.
Yes.
I do tell people that, you can do the Cayman tax plan, and the Cayman tax plan is, and you got to know that you can't do this for real. So if you're getting ready to click off at any point during this story, you have to know, and I'm telling you right now, you can't actually do this. Well, you can, but you got to do it for real.
You got to be 100% invested.
100% invested in this. So you don't file a return, okay, for as long as you possibly can. Okay, you don't file a tax return for as long as you, and then once they come a knocking, you got to take all the money that you saved from not filing tax return, and you better move to the Cayman Islands, and you're never going to be able to return. Ever. That's the Cayman tax plan, which is, so when people are like, well, how do you not pay taxes? And so I usually use it tongue in cheek. I tell people, I'm like, oh, well, and it's been a long time because I don't bring on new clients, but I'm like, oh, well, you do the Cayman tax plan, of course. I'm like, well, what's the Cayman tax plan?
Yeah.
And so it's a little smart alecky, but when you see the eyes of somebody, you're like, well, you just don't file any returns, for as long as you can. And they're looking at you like, so you just don't file returns. You don't pay any taxes. You don't file return. Don't pay anything. And then when they come looking, whatever money you save, then you run with that. And then they kind of look at you and they're like, and if that's what you want to do, then I'm the wrong CPA for you, because you are going to have to file. We're going to do things correctly. And so anyways, it gets a good chuckle out of that. And you probably could get away with it maybe when I was younger, because it sounded better.
Yeah.
It sounded cooler. And I said it in about a minute. So no one thought that I was not. So again, what I'm telling you is, don't do the Cayman plan. Do not do it. You will go to jail. They'll catch you. They'll find a way. They'll sneak you off. If anybody's ever seen the show, The Mentalist.
Yeah.
Okay. Even Simon Baker, they tricked, I think, maybe. I don't know. All right. Let's see.
JJ's going to have to start saying goodbye, because we have a lot of work still to do and not a lot of time to do so. So I'm going to pull him off.
All right. Dax says, I had someone approach me that had not filed for over 40 years. Yes, there was a filing requirement. Needless to say, sent him to an attorney. Yeah, no doubt. Goodness, Dax. Yeah, I think the worst I had was somebody hadn't filed in 10 years.
Wow.
And I helped
Bye,
him.
Gene McIntyre.
See you, Gene. And I helped him. I did.
Wow.
And you know why?
That's awesome.
You know why?
Because you're an amazing CPA.
No, I was in my second year of practice and I needed the money. Yeah, they hadn't filed and they were in the farming industry and they didn't file because they knew they had losses. I was like, man, you got to show them you have losses. So literally the day before the auditor is supposed to arrive at their office, I call and I say, I have all the tax returns done. And they're like, great, fax them down to us. Because this was back in the day, they had to travel from another area. They said, fax them to us, we'll look at it. And they called me and they said, hey, got to remember, this is what, second or third year. So like 27, 28. And they're like, listen, are you the future JJ, the CPA? Because if you are, we're just going to go with these returns now. But they didn't. They actually just said, hey, you know what? That's all we needed. We see that they have a loss and move on. And they had like the most legitimate loss. Anyways, long story short, I did help someone, but not since then. Oh my gosh, not since then. But one more story. We called the Oklahoma Employment Security Commission. Okay, this is back when Perry worked for me. So this is back like 2010. Okay, call the Oklahoma Employment Security Commission. And I had arranged that my caller ID said JJ the CPA. So I don't call, but my staff calls down to the OESC. Person answers the phone and they said, is this the JJ the CPA? And this was back when I was on the radio all the time. And Perry said, well, he's like, oh, well, what do you need? And he's like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll help you out. And of course he was having fun, right? I'll help you out, but I want to talk to the JJ, the CPA. So I got on the phone. We had a hoot. It was real simple. We just needed a form faxed to us, and he was having fun. The people down at OESC are great individuals. All right. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I love it. Hey, if we didn't answer your question, you can email it to us. We'll try and get to it Friday.
Or we're going to turn it into a video.
Or we may turn it into a video. If you send us a question, please be a subscriber. That's all we ask. Yes, take anything you can early on. Let the goodbye lightning round begin. I love it. God's dozer, I really appreciate you. Let's see. Coach is going to trade in his player to the Cayman League. Yes, I love it. All right, Dax, let's see. And and Richard Dan, aloha. Appreciate that. Carol, thank you so much. I'm bracing for the next story. I love it. Oh, and we've got Richard Jude, Arbor CPA. Hi again, JJ from Brooklyn. And what is the deal with the 30-day requirement to dock employees refusing to go back and how it relates to the FTE and headcount reduction? And do they need to contact SUI? Richard, I'm going to answer real quick. If you don't mind, will you copy and paste that question or just remind me of it? Send me an email, jj@jjthecpahelp.com. Here's the deal. If they document it, then it doesn't get included in the ding calculation, meaning they'll be able to, another way to kind of put it in there is they'll be able to count that employee or it won't count against them. So they have to get it in writing, meaning they've offered it in writing, just saying, hey, I can pay you again. Here it is. And believe it or not, they only have to pay 75%. I think PPP really is designed that they pay them the whole amount, but they say, hey, here's what we're going to pay you. And then the employee has to say, I don't want it. And they need that documented. Now, what's interesting, when you look at the SBA guidelines, or the FAQ on this, Let's see. Yeah, it was the FAQ. Sorry, trying to think which one it is. But on my website, on the SBA page, I've got this. But anyways, it does. This is what's interesting. It says that you need to provide it in writing to the employee, and then you need to document the result if they're not returning. So I don't know. Somehow how you document it seems to have a little bit more leeway on documenting it. But then they just don't get included in that calculation that's on 7, 8, and 9 in terms of dinging that employer. And then I don't know what the state's doing for. Let's see. I don't know what the states are doing in New York or New Jersey or the Northeast at all. I mean, I haven't heard anything up there. I know there's a couple of states where they go online and they report that employee, which puts everybody in a terrible position, right? It kind of pits employer versus employee. I know in Oklahoma we don't have to, but nonetheless, you would probably want to advise your client, hey, you're going to have to find a way to report it, because it does say in the SBA guidelines as well, vaguely, that the amount of eligibility for the employee who refused it will be affected, but it doesn't say how or how much or any of that kind of stuff. But I do think in the long run, the employer is who we want to protect on that. So Richard, great to see you. The only reason I'm saying send me an email on that is I want to turn that into a video. Let's see. Oh my gosh, Glenda went way back on YouTube and saw my Cox commercial. Holy moly, Glenda, thank you for that. That was shot. That video was shot in 2011. They used it in 2012, and it ran for 3 quarters. I didn't get paid anything, but I got a ton of exposure. And they estimated that over 2 million people saw it. But here's the thing, Glenda, because you'll get a kick out of this. Well, I can remember 3 times. So let's go with that so it doesn't turn into a fish story. But 3 times, okay, at Walgreens, at a Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and then at Chipotle, I got recognized, right? How like that was so fun for me. Someone was like, oh my gosh, you're the CPA that's in that commercial. They didn't know I was JJ the CPA. They're like, you're that guy in that commercial. So that was really a lot of fun. Twice I got recognized for my voice. Someone was in line with me and they were like, are you on the radio? I was like, yeah. And they're like, are you JJ the CPA? I was like, yeah. Anyways, one was in a Jimmy's Egg restaurant, and then the other was standing in line going to a concert. But anyways, Glenn, I thought you would get a kick out of that. Thank you for watching. Let's see. Yes, Rob, looking forward to tonight. God Dozer, really appreciate you. John Hamilton. John, if you didn't get an email from me, because I think I sent you one, but I was looking for your email and I can't recall if I found it. Will you send me an email if you're still on, please? For those that are the tax professionals, every once in a while, I think twice I've sent a couple emails just saying, hey, and part of the reason I'm doing that is because you all have been nice to let me know, hey, did you know this came out? Mike CPA in California sends me stuff, and Tom and whatnot. So anyways, John, if you're still on, shoot me an email. Maybe I already sent you one and I'm just not remembering. So, all right. Hey, Nelson, appreciate it. 406, appreciate that. With flying colors. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. I had a good one. You can make the video tonight why C Corp is not good for small businesses. Yeah. Perfect. I don't know if we'll do it tonight, but we're going to do that one because it does need to be done. I tell you that right now. Let's see. Oh, Richard Jan. Let's see. Tony. Thanks, Coach. Until Friday. And the word of the day will be. What should the word of the day be? You know what? Coach. We're going to talk about Coach on Friday. Coach will be the word of the day.
I'm just going to come dressed up as Coach.
When I think of Coach, for some reason I think of like Matt Foley. I don't know why. I don't think I look like Matt Foley.
Coach, yes.
Yes. All right. So Tony, thank you for that. Let's see. I think they should not have to contact the unemployment department? Why do they have to be essential? Oh, I agree, Carol. I just know in some states they require it, and therefore that would be part of the documentation. And that's why I was saying, I mean, I think Carol gets it. I mean, that it really does pit the employee versus the employer. All right, she's telling me I need to do this. What is the timing of an EIDL recon? Basically, there isn't one. Bottom line is you get your EIDL. Right now, there's no time frame. You just got to use it on business expenses. Last Friday, it was included. Hey, peeps, I'm back. Sarah K. Glad you're back. We're getting ready to head out. Provide document snitch. Oh, CJ, should someone who sells eBay, who gets a 1099K every year, continue to file as a sole P? You know what? If you're netting, which you don't have to tell me, CJ, hope you're doing well. If you're netting more than 30K, so do me a favor. I say what, CJ, send me a email and I'll send you a link to the extensive video that I did. So just in the regarding line, you know, put CJ eBay. It rhymes.
eBay.
Let's see. Kendra, thank you for being a calm, knowledgeable voice in this crazy time. Well, thank you for that, and I appreciate that. You know, there were a few videos where I did get angry, but I didn't mean to. I just got passionate.
Angry, it's passion.
Yeah, there you go, passion. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Oh, we got Ruth. Isn't SBA more interested in headcounts for full-time, part-time employees when rehiring? Yes, Ruth. Yes, both. They count when rehiring. So they want it who you paid, when you rehire. If you replace them, that's cool. Card shop site. Give me the hook. Give them the hook. Can we use per diem allowances, payroll expenses for PPP goes? I don't believe so. So no, I think I even read the short answer on that would be no. If it's taxable wages, but per diem allowances wouldn't be taxable, that's why. All right, Sarah K, my understanding is that the new W-2s are sent out for 2019, that they will be matched back to a refusal to work. Oh, I had heard that, Sarah K. Have not heard with what the resolution would be. Yeah, you know what? I predicted that, Sarah K. I predicted that long ago. You go watch back one of my videos. I was like, and the only reason I said it is like, it'd be so easy for them to match this up. So, all right. I love the late night whispering videos. Coach. JJ Van Dam by the river. Oh, that's kind of reminds me of a river runs through it. Alan Edmonds quality, has it declined? Let's see, Alan Edmonds quality. I wear Alan Edmonds. I'm not sure. Shane B, 50 days. See y'all Friday, Carol. I said tonight in case Coach decides to come out. I love it. All right, appreciate y'all, Ruth.
You guys tune back in at 9 o'clock Central Time to watch the reality show, and thank you again for coming on.
Thank you, Ruth. Yes, for PPP, you're supposed to hire. I'm sorry, you're supposed to pay your employees whether you're open or not. It's kind of goofy, but that's how PPP works. It's the best way. Did a video about this. What business entity should I be? Because my barber said, yeah. I love it. Yes, thank you for watching that. All right, Blair and Nelson Photography, thank you so much. Let's see, PPP loan forgiveness, S Corp, no employees. No, if it's an S Corp, it's based on your wages. It'll still be based on your wages, but the wages that count is similar. It's wages last year divided by 52 times 8. All old school JJ video, that's right. Goodness, Blair may have found some that where he didn't even have a mic and we were holding the phone incorrectly. All right, Billa, thank you so much. Terry D, thank you so much. Blair, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, yes, I was the 30-second view on that vid. I know, we've been doing this a long time. Kept the faith. Let's see. Rob, thanks again. Appreciate you, Rob. Tripod came today from Rob. All right.
Nice. Yay.
Hey, thanks you all. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Yep, JJ the CPA Productions. Oh my gosh, Blair's really been watching. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. All right, appreciate you all. Let's see.
Have a good night.
Tim Glass, you can't include the amount 100 over 100,000. You can't include the amount of above 100 grand, but it's only on the gross pay. You get to still include their benefits. And with that, I better roll. All right, say goodnight say goodnight, Gracie. Okay, all right. Good night. Thank you all.